Hi, I'm Aaron Wolf, host of the Strength and Style podcast, and today on the podcast, we're going to talk about how to look young forever, or at least as long as possible. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Aaron Wolf, host of the Strength and Style podcast and also founder of Atlas Menswear clothing company that makes clothes for men with muscular physiques. Check us out at atlasmenswear.com. This is going to be another episode in the series I have of what I learned in sports, specifically Taekwondo, and how I learned to apply those lessons later in life. The reason I'm doing this series is, a lot of people spend a lot of time in sports, especially at a young age, and they learn a lot of lessons in those sports. Not everybody's able to connect those lessons to other areas of their life, though. They think that, a lesson that they learn in a sport, football, basketball, baseball, fighting sports, anything, they think those lessons only apply to those specific sports. I, sometime in my life, had a revelation that all these lessons that I learned when I was in martial arts, I was able to apply those lessons to other areas of my life, and it really benefited me to be able to make those connections. And that's why I'm doing this series. I want to help people that have been in sports take the lessons that they've learned and apply them to other areas of their life, because I think it's a huge loss if someone's not able to do that. So this episode is going to be about keeping a youthful appearance. Today's my birthday, so that's why I have this on my mind. I've talked to a few people today. I've been out and around, and some people have told me happy birthday, and they asked me how old I am. And most of the people that when I tell them how old I am today, they're kind of taken aback. They say, "Well, you don't look that old," and it does make me feel good. I like hearing that. I'd rather hear that than say, "Wow, you look older than what you are." And I'm going to pause here. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. I want you to try to guess in the comments. Tell me how old you think I am. First person to guess it will win an Atlas Menswear t-shirt. I don't have one on me. Maybe I'll flash a picture of one here. I'll cut one in just so you can look at it. I will send them a t-shirt. Guess my age, and I'll get you a t-shirt. So people have been telling me that I look younger than what I am today. Let me backtrack a little bit and let you know why I think that is and how you can apply that to your life and especially your kids' lives. I started in martial arts when I was 6 years old. So at a very young age, I learned the value of taking care of myself, taking care of my body, taking care of my nutrition, doing the right things. When I got a little older, I had not only my mom and dad that would come down on me pretty hard if I got caught smoking or drinking or doing something I shouldn't be doing, but I also had my martial arts instructors, and I was just afraid of them, maybe even a little bit more afraid of them than I was my mom and dad. I had a lot of disciplinary figures in my life growing up. So I knew what I was supposed to be doing, and I knew what I was not supposed to be doing. And I really didn't want to get caught, or I just didn't want to do the wrong things. So from being in a sport, especially at that young of an age, I was in my formative years. I learned that when I have a hard workout, especially a string of hard workouts, the things, other areas of my life seems easier in comparison. The harder you work in the gym, the easier the rest of your life is. And that's a lesson that so many people, especially people that haven't been in sports any time in their life, that's a lesson that it gets lost on a lot of people. So when I'm talking to people about my birthday, they ask me, "What's my secret? How do I look younger than what I'm telling them that I am?" The secret is there's no secret. A lot of people know that there's no quick fix, or there's no magic tricks or anything to keeping a healthy body. I don't have crazy genetics. I don't come from a family that we all look like we're in our 20s when we're in our 60s, 70s, and 80s. If you see my family, my parents, my sisters, my extended family, nothing crazy, nothing crazy in the bad direction, nothing crazy in the good direction, just fairly average genes. But somehow I've been able to look younger, and I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. I don't want this to come across the wrong way, like I'm I have a big head or a big ego or anything. I'm just telling you what other people have told me. When I do compare myself to other people my age, I do feel younger. Some of the things that I'm doing, some of the things that I'm able to do, athletic wise, not a lot of people at my age are able to do those things. So what do I attribute that to? How is a lesson that I learned in sports apply to keeping a youthful appearance and feeling good well into your later years. Because honestly, I still feel like I'm in my 20s, even with injuries. I'm dealing with some injuries right now. I have a herniated disc in my neck, some other minor injuries, but I still feel great. I don't feel as old as I am, especially when I hear other people talking about when they turn as old as I am. I'm trying not to let my age slip. When they turn my age or in that age range, they are talking about the aches and the pains that they have, their back, their joints, their knees. They're always talking about how everything hurts, and I just don't feel that. Even with the injuries, I still feel good. So here's my if there is a secret, here's what I think the secret is. It's taking care of yourself from a young age. A lot of people, if they're in a sport, if it's a high school sport, once they graduate, they're not doing it anymore. Maybe they do it in the college if they're good, but that ends at some point. Life happens. You have kids, get married, priorities change, and I don't think they should, honestly. But that's what happens to a lot of people. They let themselves go. They get overweight. They start eating the wrong things. They start eating high sugar foods, high simple carb foods, fatty foods, and they lose track of what it is to take care of themselves. Once that happens, especially for an extended period of time, that aging process starts to rapidly accelerate. If you're carrying around a lot of extra weight, a lot of fatty adipose tissue, basically that you're putting a lot of strain on your body, and that accelerates the aging process. You're going to get some, if you put on a lot of weight, you might have some stretch marks, or your skin stretches different ways, and that's going to cause some wrinkles. You're going to, if you don't have the right amount of muscle tissue, lean muscle tissue, that can cause some things. Cardiovascular, your joints aren't supported as well, and if you're carrying around extra weight, your joints are going to hurt because the surfaces that slide together are sliding together harder because you have that extra weight on them. All those things, when you're not taking care of yourself, kind of start compounding on each other, and consequently, when you get into your later years, you're going to show it. You're going to look bad. If you don't take care of your body's not going to treat you very well. So my experience from being in Taekwondo from age 6, I learned the value of taking care of myself. I learned about nutrition. And I think that has served me very well, because I can honestly say, and you can look back through, social media, as far back as that goes, I've never been out of shape my entire life. I've had varying degrees of great shape, kind of good shape, but I've honestly, cannot think of a time in my life where I can say I was in bad shape. Since I was early teens, I've always had a six pack. I've always kept my six pack. And again, there's been some times where it's been shredded, other times where it's kind of looked a little bit softer, but I've always been able to see my abs. I've never had a time where I couldn't see my abs. Always been fascinated about the science behind good nutrition, and all those things combined to where my body is still feels good. I haven't worn my body down, and I haven't. I do drink beer sometimes. Beer is one of my only vice, really. And I was in the military too, so things happen there. I might have got carried away a few times, but there was no extended time where I was always drinking. I never smoked. I've always been healthy, and I've known the value of staying healthy. So that's why I am enjoying today, because I'm older. I'm a year older on the calendar, but I don't feel it. And people are telling me, hey, you don't look anywhere near the age that you're saying you are. And it makes me happy. It makes me feel good. Not only do I feel good physically, I feel good mentally too. I'm able to be there for my kids. I'm able to be there for my wife. I have plenty of energy for my business and anything else that I have to do. Of course, you have down days too. Everybody does. It doesn't matter how in shape you are. You're going to have some down days, but I have way more good days than bad days. My joints don't hurt. Me and my daughter have a kip up contest. I challenged her again this year to do a kip up. And if you don't know what that is, you lay on your back and you kind of kick your legs up, and you land on your feet. She is 14, and she was a little afraid of it this year. I don't know if she's not as good at them as what she was, but I know I can still do them at my age, and that makes me pretty happy. So to wrap it all up, what I learned when I was in Taekwondo, I learned the value of taking care of myself and the value of doing it at a young age. And that reminds me, you parents, maybe you've let yourself go at some point in your life, and now you're back on track, or you're not quite back on track yet. Instill that in your kids, though. That is really important, because once you get older and you haven't learned those things, there's what's the word? Recidivity. I think it's recidivity. I'll have to look that up. But basically, if a child is brought up being taught to be overweight, or just conditioned that being overweight is how you live, the odds of them being overweight into their adult life are extremely high. Actually, it's rare for an obese child to grow up and not be obese in their adult life. It does happen, and I really commend those people that are able to do that. But parents, it's your responsibility to raise your kids right. If you fall off the wagon and if you don't have the willpower, if you don't have the want to do it, at least teach your kids and show them the option that they can take care of themselves, and that's going to serve them so well into their later years. They're going to be so much happier, so much healthier because of what you taught them. So that is your responsibility, parents, that you need to raise your kids at least with the knowledge of how to take care of themselves, the knowledge of the value of a good diet, not going out to fast food all the time, good food, healthy exercise. That is your responsibility. You need to do that to give your kids the best life possible. All right, so that's what I wanted to go over with you today. Leave me a comment. Try to guess my age again. And the first person to get it right will get an Atlas Menswear t-shirt. I will get a hold of you somehow. Didn't really plan out a contest, but I do want to do something. So we'll figure that out. So first person to guess my age will get a t-shirt. Unless it's somebody that I know already knows my age. Don't do that. Let's try to keep it fair. All right, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.